right, activity 5, infographic. So on the infographics, what we're going to do is, I already have the template, so you're going to click on the template again. And I just have a simple one just to show how the insert menu is used for Google Drawings. But on any infographic, you're going to use data, you're going to use graphs, you're going to use all sorts of things that point out particular details that you want to show. So numerous ideas for that, from data that you can pull from spreadsheets to data on the web, to also just different ideas that you want to share, or steps or procedures. So here we go. Okay, so now we have this activity 5, the infographic poster, adding charts, text, images. And so these are the skills you would need. And one of the reasons you need the zoom, which is one of the newest ones that we haven't done, is because it's such a long graphic. And so being able to use the zoom feature to get close up to kind of see what's going on. And so let's dissect this down a little bit to see what is going on. So first of all, this is some Wordart. So if I double click, you can see I can control this Wordart, and so everything fits. I don't have to worry about font size. I can just put it to the shape. Same thing, this is also Wordart with different types of coloring to it. All right, there's a black box behind here, and I just used that to kind of show some difference. And then I used a background. So let me get on a right click there, background. And so I used a gradient. So there's different types of gradients you could use. Maybe back up a little bit so you can see the entire thing. So gradients sometimes look nice, plain also. It just depends on what you're trying to show and display in your particular infographic. All right, and so my goal here is, of course, all of these take planning. So my goal here was just to show you 4 things that you can insert with Google Drawings, just as a visual, like, oh wow, I could put a chart in here, I could put diagrams, I could put all of them, but kind of make an infographic of it. So with the charts, obviously, I just went to Insert and went to Chart and created a pie chart. And we did that earlier in one of our other sessions, but just it's the same process, and just follow what's going to happen is, remember, it attaches to a sheet. So if I want to open the sheet source, it will show the source itself, and then I can make any type of changes on here, and it'll change the graph specifically. And so then when I go back, I have the update button, and there it is. So the graph has changed. These are also these words here. Instead of using text boxes, I used Wordart just to make it easier to kind of fit how I needed it. And I've added some shapes here, so you can see all of these are kind of perfectly aligned. And so I just went to the shape tool and put a color in here that would kind of look like a background, almost like it was part of a wallpaper in a way, but just to kind of show each one, just to look a little different rather than a plain background. For diagrams, same thing. Just went to the particular insert and diagram, and remember our little box here, and I chose the hierarchy one, and this is where you can set it up however you want and pick one of those. And when I do, if I were to choose this one, it will put it directly on there. Whoops. And what happened, let me undo that. Let me go down here and insert. Actually, it typically always inserts in the middle there. And notice once it puts it on, they're all ungrouped. So you want to make sure you do that in kind of an open space with typically any of these, because now I have these on top of each other, and this one, now I have to select everything as far as lines and things like that. If this one underneath was grouped, then it would be no problem. So you could run into that issue. So maybe now if I group this, that way I can even move it out of the way here. Now when I insert, then it's much easier to take all of these here and move them down how I may wish. Undo that back. There we go. And then, of course, on the individual diagram itself, each is separate. So if I go back to ungrouping, these lines are separate. I can move the lines around. Even if I move an object, notice it stays with it. The lines here. So if I wanted to change size or make them dotted, do that. So you have all sorts of options there. Of course, you can type inside of it. You can change the shape, what it looks like compared to the others. Just depends. And if you don't like it, you just undo. And you're back to how you were. Colors you can change. I try to keep infographics simple with colors because the idea is to look uniform but also point out certain things. So if there's something you want to highlight, make that a different color. So that's graphics. Let's move on down. So I'm going to scroll down, and the next one we're going to do is we're going to insert Wordart. So I'm actually going to make a Wordart saying the word Wordart. So just type it in. There it is. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see. Now, I just created this right there so you could see, and I'm going to use my tools to make sure it's aligned and centered with the entire page. But it's in a different font, so I can always click on the other one and see, okay, this is Archivo Black, so I can change the color, maybe no outline, and then change this to Archivo Black. Oh, now it's too big based on how it was set up. Now, you're probably thinking, why didn't I just copy and paste the other one? Yeah, you could definitely do that. And that will help you be more uniform. But notice how I'm doing it this way. You can see that the little blue lines show me that they're pretty much the same height. So now I have something that looks similar. Oh wow, this line got out of whack. There we go. All right, so now I have Wordart, and so then I can do some examples of Wordart. So let me just copy this one, kind of put it as an angle, copy another one. So I actually accidentally reversed it. There we go. Make it small. One of the things I like with Wordart is that you can put an object within others. So let's say I wanted to type the word drawings. So I have drawings, but maybe I want to do something different with the A. So maybe I don't like that A and I want a different A. So I can do a space there, and sometimes you may need two, it just depends. So now it has that space, and so now I just type an A, and I can use that same A to make it bigger. Put it right in line with the other ones. Maybe I wanted to highlight it and have it be a separate color. So that's one of the nice things you can do with drawing tools is in the Wordart is be able to do something like that. Let's do another copy of this, and we'll do another example just so you can see. Let's just do something like words, and let's kind of make it big and clunky here, and we'll change the font. Maybe we'll go with something more scripty like this. And we'll do the color. Actually, let's do a border on this one. And let's do a different color. And I can also go to my format options. And this is where I can add my drop shadows, reflections, things like that. change my position, also my sizes. So those Wordart still could do those items too. So let's go back to the drop shadow so I can work on that a little bit. So let's do a little bit of a radius. Let's make it kind of a yellowish background, less transparent. And you're just trying to find something that works for you. But now I've kind of made this look like it's standing out this way. If I didn't like the black, I could actually go back and say, you know what, I want more of an orange. That kind of looks like it's vibrating, it's on fire. And so Wordart, that's another way or tool you can use for inserting into drawings. And so the last one we'll do is just inserting of shapes and lines. So I'll go ahead and just pick out a couple shapes. So we'll do a little pie graph. Maybe we'll do a moon. Kind of looks like the pie graph. Do a 3D shape. So I'm just picking several different things so you can see how these are used. Let's go ahead and pick a couple arrows. Go to callouts, maybe pick an explosion here. And let's just do an equal sign. All right, so you can see all of these, and I'm just going to highlight them by dragging over. Oh, I've selected this piece, so just click on Shift and click on it once. And now I have all of these shapes. If I want them all the same color, maybe I want them all black with a white border. Maybe I want a white dotted border. And depending on, it's kind of dark down there, maybe I should choose a grayer. Maybe a little bit more of a border weight. There we go. And so now I have all of these shapes, and now the only thing missing is labeling it. So I'll duplicate this one. And click on the shapes. There we go. Centering. Again. And if I go back out and do fit, there's my Google Drawing. Of course, this is the only part that will print. So if I went to File, Print, if I wanted to print this out, it's going to generate the preview. And that's the only part that will print. So I minus this out. There's a page. Oh, see, that's what it looks like as one page. So if you had to print several pages, just make sure your lines are kind of set up to cut off. So how did I make this so it was 8.5 by 11, but also, let's change it to color. Made it so it was longer. So if I go to my file, page setup, I really used the 8.5, and then I just extended it 3 times. So if I had to use 3 pieces of paper that I was actually printing out, and I could tape them together, put them together somehow, and that's what I did. And so you can see where the kind of the lines were cut. And so again, go ahead and have fun. Think about something that you may want to show or demonstrate, or have kind of your own poster, or encourage your kids to make their own infographics that show visually what something is. Again, modeling and looking at good examples, but knowing that you can do this in here is just a fabulous tool.